All right, welcome everybody to the Delegate and Elevate Workshop. Super excited for this topic. This is going to be different than our traditional master classes. This is more of a deep dive, hands-on workshop where I'm going to be sharing an actual Google Sheet. If you're not already on a computer, I would highly recommend getting on a computer or a laptop because this is an interactive workshop where you're going to have an immediate takeaway value. By the end of this workshop, we're going to fill out an entire spreadsheet of every single thing that you're doing, the value of every single one of those activities. Should you keep doing it? Should you give it to somebody already on your team that can do it immediately? Should you give it to someone already on your team that you can train to do it in the next X amount of time? Or is this something you need to get off your plate, but you need to hire for? So you're going to have every single thing that you do on a daily, weekly, quarterly, annual basis mapped out by the end of this workshop, and you're going to have assigned whether you're going to keep doing it, whether you're going to assign to someone already on your team, you need to hire for someone, and you're going to have an exact game plan with schedules and dates and everything by the end of this workshop. That is the game plan. So again, get in front of a laptop or a computer if you're not already on one so that we can make this happen. Super excited to dive deep and give you guys tons of immediate value on this interactive Delegate and Elevate workshop. So first, I just want to start with the premise, okay? You can't scale what you refuse to release. And this is really difficult. You know, if you are a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, you know you've done things or can do things better than other people in your team, and you don't want the quality to lack, and you want to have that control. You want to be able to make sure that things are being done the best way possible. And so sometimes it can be hard to hand things off. But at the end of the day, you as the business owner are the number one bottleneck in your business, and the business is going to be bottlenecked if you're not able to continue to scale and grow and delegate and elevate. And so to grow, you have to have subtraction first off of your schedule before you can have addition to the next level. And so everything has a price tag, including your time. I always, joke around with people and say, hey, everything's for sale except my wife and kids. All right. So anything can be done for a specific dollar amount. Maybe your dollar amount is different than other people's dollar amounts. And we're going to help calculate your exact time value today and also put some value to the different tasks that you're doing. Because otherwise, you're just going to keep justifying doing low-level tasks, and you're confuse busyness with leadership. You're going to confuse busyness with productivity, right? And it's easy to just always be busy doing all these low-level tasks for actually being productive. And so that was a big shift we actually had in our company a number of years ago, where a lot of team members would come to our morning huddle and say, oh, yesterday was a really busy day. And we try to shift everyone's mindset and say, hey, it was a productive day. We weren't just busy doing random things that didn't have value. We were doing productive things that provided the most value for the organization. So I'm going to walk you through in a little bit. I have a whole calculator in the spreadsheet, but I'm going to walk you through your CEO value formula, understanding exactly what your true hourly value rate is so that we can then know exactly what that number is and compare it to the tasks that we're doing currently and figure out how much we're overpaying ourselves so that we can start to have more confidence to delegate and elevate. So for example, in this example, if your time is worth $200 an hour and you're doing administrative tasks that are worth $20 an hour, you're being overpaid $180 an hour. Now, you wouldn't pay or hire anybody to do administrative tasks for $200 an hour, so why are you doing it? You wouldn't pay or hire anyone to do scheduling or posting for $25 or $30 an hour, so why are you doing it? Again, we have to have this mindset. We have to continually think, who, not how. Who do I need on my team to accomplish these goals? Not how do I just have to keep more and more hours and busy and doing all these lower level tasks. So this is the whole framework we're going to be working in, what I call the Delegate and Elevate matrix. And so what we're going to be doing is filling out a sheet where we're going to put everything into one of these 4 buckets, okay? Either we love it, we're great at it, we like it, we're kind of good at it, we don't like it, but we are good, or we don't like it and we're also not good at it. So obviously this bottom right corner, we want to get rid of these things very first and foremost off of our plate. And then we probably want to work over into this secondary quadrant. We don't like it, but we are good at it. We like it, kind of, we're good at it, third quadrant. And then this is ideally your zone of genius, right? That love it, great at it. This is where you want to protect those things. This is what you're the best at. This is where you provide the most value. This is where, you're getting paid $200 an hour, but these are $500 an hour tasks that you want to spend most of your time on. And they're fulfilling too. They're purpose driven. You're passionate about it. You're excited. They don't drag you down. You want to do them, right? Whereas these other ones, like I said, you can do them, but it's replaceable, right? You're competent, but it's draining. Or you got to get these off your plate. You don't like it and you're not good at it. You should definitely need to replace these sooner rather than later. And hopefully those, you have somebody on your team already that you can start to delegate to. And so when you're trying to delegate, it's easy to say, well, they can't do it as well as me. Well, yeah, you're the owner, you're the CEO, you run the business, you've started the company, you have all the insides and outs and inside information, and you know the history and you know all the reasons why to do it certain ways, and you can definitely do it faster. And so that's just not going to be able to be 100% replacement. You need to be okay. At least if it's 80%, 100%, it can leave your plate. I've even heard CEOs saying 50%. So you got to figure out your threshold. I think 80% is a great starting threshold. Once you become more confident, you can maybe go lower than that, but 80% for sure. If someone else can do it 80% as well as you can, then that's something that we need to start getting off our plate. Okay, like I said, we're going quick. We want to jump into the workshop. And it should pull up a Google Sheet like this. And this is your own Google Sheet. So that link that I put in there, you should make a copy when it goes in there. And so this should be your own sheet. Okay, so now you guys are in. Now we want to start jumping into this. So first tab in the worksheet is we're going to calculate your hourly value. Calculate your hourly value. So right in here, you're going to put whatever your own number is. What is your total owner salary? So let's just make up some numbers here. Let's say I paid myself $70,000 last year. Let's say I also gave myself another 100,000 in distributions. And then let's just say my company made another 100,000 in profit. And then I had 2,000 hours is about 40 hours a week, 50 weeks a year with 2 weeks of vacation. That's 2,000. But if you work less than 40 hours a week, or you work more than 40 hours a week, you just want to multiply number of hours a week, multiply by the number of weeks you work per year, and change that number to whatever number it may be. All right. Once you guys start getting that number, your total hourly value, and your number is your number, whether it's $50 an hour, whether it's $200 an hour, we just need to know the number. It's a baseline point, and it's also a great checkpoint. This is a number that you can really understand for yourself. It's going to make not just business decisions, but also help you make personal decisions. It's also, hey, if it's not where you want it to be, then you can start setting goals to get it to the next level. Okay, so now we're going to go to the second tab in the spreadsheet. If you scroll all the way to the right in that second tab, you should see your hourly value should now automatically be calculated in row J, column J, row 2. Your number should automatically already be over there for you to see. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to start putting out, this is going to be the longest part of the whole workshop, every single task that you do, all right, on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, on an annual basis, anything that you do at all, you need to start putting in here one at a time, okay? So let's just start putting it in. Let's say check emails, adjust patients, day ones, day twos, team training, team meetings, hiring, firing, marketing. I want to break that one up. Maybe it's like managing marketing vendor. Maybe you do your own, Facebook ads. Maybe you do social media posting. Maybe you open / close the clinic. Are you the one that turns all the computers on, that gets it all set up? How about paying bills? Bookkeeping, better not be doing that. All right. Depositing checks. running errands, ordering supplies. You get the idea. Just start everything off the top of your brain. You guys should be dumping it into your task list. Every single thing that you could possibly think of. If you've got to pull up your calendar, that's always helpful for me when I do this exercise. Pull up my calendar. Okay, what am I doing every single day? What am I doing in the office? Like I said, if you can make this 100% professional, or you can also make this personal. If you want to say oil change, or cleaning your house or laundry, we could definitely do that too. That's definitely a personal preference. If you want to look into, hey, what are some other things you're doing, from a personal standpoint, mowing. We just got a bunch of inches of snow, shoveling your driveway, right? Every single task that you do on a regular basis, put it in the list. Do you oversee every department? Are you overseeing the sales department? Are you overseeing the back office department? Are you overseeing finance department? Are you the one that's doing accounts receivable? Are you doing billing? Are you doing insurance verifications? Are you answering the phone? Are you doing scheduling? Right? Are you marking x-rays? Are you creating care plans? Everything. Just think of all the different things you're doing daily, weekly, monthly. Are you calculating stats? Let's see who can get the most things out of their brain and onto this. You guys should be able to come up with probably 50 things. Like I said, get them as granular as possible. You don't want to have a big thing. Like I said, marketing. If you just say marketing, that's really broad, So what is that? Is that organic, creating the organic post? Is that filming organic content? Is that writing the copy? Is that posting the copy? Is that figuring out what to write, right? Is it creating the ads? Is it running the ads? Is it finding the vendor? Is it managing the vendor? Is it Google ads? Is it Facebook ads? Is it SEO? Is it your website? Is it in-person events? Is it community events? Get granular. So even, go up back through your ones that you already have written down and delete a larger one and break that up into 2, maybe 3 different things. Even for ordering supplies, that can be a big one. Is it office supplies, or is it, supplements, or is it equipment? Is it cleaning supplies? Is it face paper? Are those all being done by you or different people, or could those be split up? Regular supplies our director of operations can order, but equipment and supplements, we have our head doctor, in charge of managing that inventory. So there might be different people, that could do those different things that would have a better ability to do those. You guys are doing great. Take your time. Let's get these all out of your head. Daily, weekly, monthly. Maybe stuff you only do once a quarter. Maybe there's things you only do once a year. All right. Hopefully you're wrapping that up. But as you're doing that, and some people are done, we're going to move to the next step here, which is now we want to put what quadrant every one of those tasks are in. So you go to your list. We have we've built this very nice drop downs for you here. And you're going to pick, do you love it? Are you great at it? You want to keep doing that thing? Or do you like it? You're kind of good at it. You don't like it, you're decent at it, you're good at it. Or you don't like it and you're not good at it. That's something you want to get off your plate right away. And then start assigning an hourly value as well. So I would say do the whole quadrant first, do column B first. Just do the whole love it, great at it, like it, good, don't like it, good, don't like it, not good. Do that entire quadrant. Like I said, this is a workshop. Take your time. Let's make a massive list of everything you do. Let's figure out exactly what quadrant. Let's figure out exactly what the value is. And then we're going to figure out if you need to keep it, get rid of it, who needs to take it, what the next steps are, and when the deadline is going to be that is going to be delegated. Okay. All right. So if you haven't already done it, let's move to the next column over, assigning an hourly value. So every single one of these activities, checking emails, how much would you pay? This is your value. This isn't me. I want you to assign your own value. What you value it today might be different than tomorrow, maybe different than 2 years ago. But let's just put your own value. What do you feel like the value of checking emails is per hour? What's the value of adjusting patients? What's the value of doing a day one? What's the value of running a team meeting or running a team training or doing social media posts, depositing checks, ordering supplies, mowing your yard, answering the phone, creating care plans? Start putting a value for all of those. All right, hopefully you guys are close to getting the hourly value done. If not, keep working on it, but we're going to keep going so everyone can do the next category. Now we're going to assign a delegation category. If you're saying, hey, this is mine, I love doing this, I am great at doing this, this is what I'm passionate about, keep it, keep doing it, and don't do what other people tell you to do. If you love adjusting, you never want to give up adjusting, keep adjusting. You love doing team trainings, you love leading meetings, you love, answering the phone. I mean, it could be anything. Again, this is why I'm so big on don't try and live somebody else's life. Just because someone else says they should get that off their plate or they don't like doing that, that's why God made us all different. We all have different zones of genius. We're all good at different things, and we love to do different things. There's team members that you have on your own team right now that absolutely love being the face of the practice at the front desk, and there's people in the back office that are in the back billing, and they have zero interest in talking with anybody. They want to be on a computer. They love spreadsheets. They love numbers, and both people are totally right. So I would say, what do you love to do? What are you great at? And hopefully this is an exercise to help you to reveal that, right? Don't just get rid of it because you think someone else should do it. Maybe, and it could even be a lower value thing. There's lots of low value tasks too that you love. A lot of people love mowing the yard. I've met a lot of dudes that are obsessed with striping their yard and doing all sorts of stuff, right? And there's lots of other hobbies, right, that don't pay super high that you might just love to do. And that's totally cool. So like I said, yes, we're assigning an hourly value. Yes, that's the main model for most of these. But if you love to do it, keep it green forever. Blue, delegate immediately. You want to have somebody, you think that somebody already on your team can take this off your plate. You can delegate this immediately. You already have somebody on your team that you know of, that you can try and get that off your plate right away. Yellow, someone on your team can do this. They just need some training. You need to train them. There's going to be a little bit of time before they're up to speed, before they can get to that 80% level. Make it yellow. If you think someone on your team, already on your team, just can do it, they're just going to need some training. Turn it red if, hey, got to get this off my plate, but I don't have anybody on my team that I think can do it immediately, or I don't have anybody on my team that I think has the skill set, talents, abilities, to do it in a short period of time in the next 6 to 12 months. So I should probably look into hiring for this specific task or role. Turn that red, right? And then maybe there's stuff that no one needs to do. Nobody needs to do these. This is just a waste of time. You've been building these up on your calendar, and hopefully there's not very many of these, but if that's the case, that's gray. Just eliminate it. This doesn't need to be done. Extra energy being wasted. Let's get rid of it. For the value, just to clarify, this is what I would pay for the task or what the market demands. It's probably a mix of both, right? I mean, you could say you'd only pay $5 an hour for it, but if no one's going to do it for less than $25 an hour, then it doesn't really matter. I would say, hey, most likely you want to say, hey, what is the price, that you could hire somebody most likely to do this? So it's probably a combination of what you think you could pay for it, or also what the market demands. If you would pay $50 an hour, but you only got to pay $20 an hour, put $20 an hour, right? But if you'd only pay $20 an hour, but it costs $50 an hour for someone to actually do it, well, as long as you're making more than $50 an hour, it might be best to still delegate that. Okay, so you've put all your tasks in, you put all your quadrants in, you've put in the hourly values. Now we're working on the delegation category. All right, we're going to keep moving along. Now we're going into delegation phases. There's 3 phases of delegation. I've mentioned them earlier. First phase is, who do you already have on your team that can take this task off your plate? If you already have somebody on your team that you can assign as the new owner, then you put that right here for new owner. Okay. If you already have somebody on your team, they can do it. They already have the skills. They already have the talents. They know what to do. They've maybe already been helping with it a little bit. You've just been maybe doing 50-50 of it, and they can take it over 100%. Put that person's name in column E. Phase 2 is, you got to train somebody. You need, you only one that's doing it maybe, or maybe someone can do it a little bit, but not all of it. So you need to fill in the gaps or the pieces. They can do it 20%. You need to get them up to 80%. Maybe somebody not doing it at all, but hey, this person on my team could definitely do this task. They have the skills, they got the abilities, they're out doing tasks that are pretty similar already, So then put that person's name in that column. Okay. Well, the next steps we really need to map out is, what's training is required. Is there an SOP already documented? Should they shadow you? Yeah, for a while. Is it a 30-day ramp up? Is it a 6-month ramp up? How do you keep them accountable? How do you check in with them? Make sure that they're doing it properly. And then we got the third delegation option. If you put, hey, no one on my team knows how to do this immediately. I don't think anyone's got the perfect skill set needed to do this role. I should probably hire for this. Is it a brand new role? That's a part-time role, a full-time role, or maybe it's someone in a role you already have, but has an additional skill set, right? So maybe you need to have a doctor that also can help with marketing or also can help with sales. And your current doctor, great doctor, but that's really what he wants to focus on, is just being a doctor, right? So you need to find another doctor that can be more involved with sales or marketing, or maybe it's some of the management activities. You got some great team members, but you don't think they have the skill sets to move up into management at this time. So you want to hire somebody who could be a front desk / office manager, or a back office / office manager, right? Or, maybe you don't need a full-time role or even a part-time role. Maybe there's a contractor, right? Or maybe there's a vendor, that you can outsource this role to, right? Maybe it's hiring, and you can use recruiting agencies to help you hire, post jobs, filter candidates. So it's not somebody you need full-time to take hiring, posting jobs, filtering applicants off your plate. Maybe it's an organization, a vendor, or a contractor. So that is column E, right? And then if there is any training needed, put that in column F. I would just say put yes for now. You don't have to get it detailed in there unless you have time. You can fill that out, but I would just say yes for now for training needed. While you're filling that out, start putting in deadlines. Start putting in the deadline as well. When is this going to be handed off to the new owner? Even if you got to hire someone. Hey, it's going to take me 2 months to hire. It's going to take me 3 months to train. I could get this handed off in 5 months, right? Or I already got someone on the team. It's going to take me 60 days to train them. I can hand this off in 60 days. I already got somebody on the team. I think they can already do it 80%. I just got to maybe assign some accountability. I got to tell them what I need to do. I need to make sure the SOPs are documented, come up with a good game plan, can do it by the end of next week, right? So for the deadline, I built this very easily. All you got to do, double click on the box. It'll pop up a calendar. You can pick your date. The last column is the status. So that's not going to get done today, but this is what you're going to start. This is what you're going to use moving forward. You can mark them all as not started for now if you want to. If you like getting all your colors in, and then you're going to start mapping them out. Let's say I delegate everything. Like my office can run without me. What do I do with myself? That is a great question. You can do whatever you want. That's the freedom, of if you want to get to that level and you truly want to be 100% hands off and you want your clinic to run as best as possible, I think that's going to be hard to get to 100% out. There's still going to be CEO level tasks or some business owner tasks, unless you want to really delegate that to some of those CEO, business owner, really, really high level business making decisions, big changes in the organizations, if you want to get that completely off your plate, that's pretty high level. Those are tough to do, like I said, without hiring a pretty high level CEO or business partner, take those things off your plate. It's going to be tough to get to 100%. But let's say you can get to 80%, then, like I said, that's up to you. For me, it's putting more time into CEO time. It's putting more time into those high level tasks. It's spending more time in the highest priority activities, right? Because that's where I provide the most value to the company of research and development, what to do next, how do I improve our marketing, how do I improve our sales process, how do I evaluate our KPIs and make best decisions, right? That's where I'm spending that extra time that I've been able to get off my plate for the lower level tasks. I'm reinvesting it back into more time into the higher level tasks. All right, you guys are doing great. Hopefully you're getting it soon. I'm going to just continue with the slides here. If you're not done, no worries, you can continue. Okay, so if you have everything done, now you know everything you do, you know what it's worth, you know what to delegate immediately, you know what requires training, you know what requires hiring, and you know what to keep, right? And so, as I was just saying, that's when you're going to start spending more time directly into those higher level tasks. You can spend more time on $500 an hour tasks, okay, that are worth even more than you're currently getting paid, so that you can up level your own income as well, right? But the big question is, can you release control? Can you give up that control that you might be tightly gripping onto? And it's tough. It's not an easy question. I talked about this on the front end as well, and you got to make those decisions. Some things are going to be easier to give up. Even some things that you think are worth less value, they might be harder to give up than others. Okay. But it's a process. You're not going to get rid of everything every day. Start with the ones that are the easiest to give up, that are the lowest value, and work your way. Okay. Because you can't rise while you're holding on to everything, right? You can't just keep going up and up if you're holding on to everything. If you've ever been in a hot air balloon, they got to start dropping weight off, right? So they can go higher up in the air, right? And so very similarly, you got to start dropping things off your plate so that as you delegate, you elevate, and then you scale to the next level. So hopefully this was a very valuable workshop. Like I said, my whole goal on this workshop specifically was just to give very tangible takeaway items that you can do immediately, rather than just talking in general terms and ideas and concepts, which is great too. I wanted to give you guys something very tangible that you're going to have completed, by the end of this call, that you can take action with. I know hopefully this was a great exercise, and this sheet, that's yours to keep forever. So utilize that sheet, have it pulled up on your computer every day and look at it. And like I said, set the deadlines and, map those details out of what needs to do to get from here to there, right? And continually check it in. And then in a month, 2 months, refill the sheet out 100%. Okay. You could either blank fill a brand new sheet out, and then cross compare them, or you could just go back in and alter the sheet that you've had and get rid of the ones that have eliminated and see if there's any new tasks that you've had, right? And then the next level is, maybe you're doing a task, but maybe you want to do a little bit less of a task, right? There's certain tasks that, you still want to adjust. You don't want to adjust. You want to get rid of adjusting completely. Right now you're doing, 30 hours a week of adjusting, and you want to get it down to 10 hours a week of adjusting, right? So there's different things like that too. You don't have to 100% eliminate some things. Maybe it's just doing less overall time, or other things you want to do more overall time, right? Maybe you want to do more CEO hours. Maybe you want to get more involved with marketing or less involved with marketing. You still need to be involved to some degree, but maybe it's just a change in the total number of hours as well. Then our time here is up. I appreciate every single one of you. Like I said, if you are not a Lucro client, highly recommend scheduling a strategy call with us. morelucro.com is the website. Schedule a strategy call with our team. We have phenomenal results. Like I said, our average clinic in Lucro grew their top line income by over 15% last year. So massive, massive value, way, way, way more growth than we cost, right? And so you already have to pay for bookkeeping. You already have to file your taxes. That's just a legal requirement. You might as well get way, way more value out of those exact same activities. versus just only utilizing for the 1 day a year to file taxes. So again, thank you all for your time. Hopefully this was super, super valuable. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend.